All right, today our lesson is on volume of pyramids. So to find the volume of a pyramid, you can use one of two formulas. We are always going to multiply by a third of the area of the base times the height of the pyramid, or you can consider just dividing by 3. I will be using this one right here, just because I think it's easier to look at. So let's go ahead and start. One of the first things we're going to do is find the area of the base. Now the base is always that bottom object. So when you're calculating the area of the base, first take a look at the bottom and identify the shape. That is a square on the bottom, so we call this a square pyramid. The area of the base, then, you're going to find the area of the square. So this is something you're already familiar with. We're just going to take the length times the width, or you can call it side squared. Since all of the sides of a square are the same measure, it's just 3 times 3, or 9. The height of the pyramid is from the very bottom of it, right here, to the very top. And you can see that that is 12 centimeters. So we're going to write 12 in there for the height. To find the volume then, this will be very similar to what we did when we were finding the volume of the prisms. It's always the area of the base times the height, which is 12, and then instead of dividing by 2 like we did with the prisms, we're going to divide by 3. We're dividing by 3 to account for those slanted sides here of the pyramid. So you can either divide by 3 or multiply by 1/3. That is the same thing. 9 times 12 is 108. Divided by 3 will give us 36. And again, since we are finding the volume, we're going to cube our answer. So 36 cubic centimeters. Moving on to the second example. Once again, identify the area of the base. So if I look at the base, and I'm just going to kind of draw it right here and outline it, it looks like the very bottom here is in the shape of a triangle. So this is called a triangular pyramid. So just like on the first one, finding the area of that base, you're going to use a previously learned formula. The area of a triangle, remember, is base times the height divided by 2. So we're going to apply that right here. If you want to, you can draw out the triangle so you can clearly see it. And it looks like its base is a 21. The height of that base is 18.2. So we're going to multiply the base 21 times 18.2. Then we're going to divide that by 2, as you can see from our formula here. The result should be 191.1. We'll then record the height of the pyramid. So again, the height is from the very bottom to the top, and it looks like that is 17.1. From here, we're just going to multiply those two numbers together and divide by 3. So 191.1 times 17.1 divided by 3. Again, by 3 because we have a pyramid. You should end up with 1,089.27. And since we are calculating volume, it is going to be cubic centimeters. Next, it looks like we have a shape on the bottom that we learned yesterday and the day before, and it's a hexagon. So this is called a hexagonal pyramid. So to find the area of the base of a hexagon, remember that 3 is always part of the formula. And then we're going to take it times the side measure, and it looks like that side measure is a 7. And then times the apothem. So that's from the center of the circle down to the side, and that is 6.1. We're going to multiply those 3 numbers together, and you should get 128.1 28.1. Again, the height of our pyramid is going from the very bottom all the way up to the top, and it looks like that measure here in red ink is 9.2. So we're going to multiply those two numbers together, 128.1 times 9.2, and then once again dividing by 3 to account for the slide, the edges here of our pyramid that are slanted. That should be 392.84 cubic feet. In our next example, it looks like we have another square pyramid. So again, look at the base and identify the shape of the base. Since it is a square, you don't see any other measurements here on the side, so we're going to assume that each side then is 21. So the area of a square is just side times side, 21 times 21, that would be 441. The height of the pyramid from the very bottom all the way to the tippity top is 22.7. Once again, we're going to multiply those two numbers together. And what do we divide by? You guessed it, 3. That should result in 3,336.9 cubic millimeters. Next on our example list, looks like we have another hexagon here at the bottom. So that again is a hexagonal pyramid. So we're going to take that formula, which remember always includes that 3 times the side measure, which is 26, times the apothem, which is 22.5. That's right here as we look from the center of the circle back to the side. Multiplying those three numbers together, you should get 1,755. The height of the pyramid from the bottom to the top is 33.1. For the volume, we're going to multiply 1,755 times 33.1. Again, we're going to go ahead and divide that by 3, and you should get 19,363.5, and it looks like it's going to be cubic feet. This will be our last example. Again, look at the very bottom here. I'll just kind of outline that. It looks like the bottom of our pyramid is the shape of a triangle. So this is called a triangular pyramid. So again, for the area of the base, it's always going to be what shape the base or the bottom of that shape is. And since it's a triangle, we know that that is going to be the base, which looks like it's 26.4 times the height of that base. So if I look at that, it's 22.9. And then remember, it's a triangle, so we're going to divide it by 2. That should be 302.28. The height from the very bottom of the pyramid to the tippity top is 21.6. Multiplying 302.28 times 21.6, and then divided that again by 3. You should get a result of 2,176.416. So right now this is in the nearest thousands. So if it did not tell you to round to a particular digit, you could answer that. But for practice, let's go ahead and say we wanted to round to the nearest 100th. Oops, 100th. That means 2 places after the decimal. So it would be 2176.4, Now, if you look back, this is a 6, so that means that 1 becomes a 2. We still keep it as cubic centimeters. Let's say you wanted to round to the nearest tenth instead. That would be 2176.4 cubic centimeters. So once again, just like we've always been doing, make sure you're looking at the directions for rounding and where you need to report your answer. All right, so that'll do it for volume of pyramids.